So the PEG moiety, which is attached to a phospholipid, become part of the bilayer, work by excluded volume mechanism, and actually bind a lot of water. Every ethylene oxide bind about 3 to 4 molecules of water, so you have a huge bulk that causes the steric hindrance and the steric stabilization effect, really. Now, here, to our surprise, some of the water come from the water, but some of the water coming from the head group here. And because of this, it tight the bilayer and even stabilize it much further. So that's a very important mechanism for the steric stabilization. And here I'll show you what I mean by the first order release. You can see here that the release is first order, the same amount of drug per every unit of time, only for unique type of lipid composition, the hydrogenated soy PC. If we go to unsaturated, we get a very fast second order release. So that's a very crucial for the success of the project, to know and to have a better control of the release. This is the kind of classical way to look what steric stabilization means, but of course it's oversimplification. It's prevent interaction with the blood component, and you can see it here by getting much lower uptake by macrophages here. You can see if this is the higher one is without the PEG, the same composition, this is with the PEG. You can ask me why you still get 40%. Actually, I could get it to 0. But if I get it to 0, the liposome will keep circulating for so long that they will prevent the second administration. So you have really to titrate the system. The impact of this will be a very slow pharmacokinetics. You can see it here. This is the pharmacokinetics. Compare with free drug or with drug in other kind of liposome, which are very fast. It's about 1,000 times difference in some pharmacokinetic parameters, like the area under the curve. So just to show you some data in human, the first thing, can we get targeting, passive targeting? The answer is yes. That experiment we did in 1991, published in 1994. Gabizon, my oncologist partner for many years, and myself. And you can see it here. You can see that Doxil always delivers much more drug to both the cells and the interstitial fluid than the free doxorubicin in the same patient, sometimes 20-fold more. And the impact of it on just pick it up from a paper. There are many publications now showing the advantage here, the clinical advantage of Doxil over another kind of drug combination. This is just one patient we follow. Okay, one patient we follow for a very long time. Now 9 years, this patient's life expectancy was 1 year, and he's still alive. Alberto, every time he gets a cancer, he keeps giving him the drug, and by this he saved him. So here I want to summarize. You can see here the mechanism. What we get is the kind of leakage of liposome in the tumor sites. The liposome releases the drug there by the different environment of the tumor than in the plasma, mainly through some effect on the gradient, which enable the release of the drug. The impact, and this is one of the first clinical trials that was done for the FDA approval. You can see the comparison of topotecan with the Calyx, which is the European name for Doxil. You can see the benefit, and this is the much lower cardiotoxicity of Doxil compared with the free doxorubicin. And I have to say that doxorubicin is perform much worse than Doxil in most of the side effects, except one, which is the foot and hand syndrome, hand-foot syndrome, the PPE, in which Doxil has effect that now we're trying to reduce in our next generation Doxil. But this effect doesn't bother. So some historical perspective, the patent we filed in 1989, the drug went to sale in 1996, and the patent life is still, in US, is still this year. So we have about quite many years of patent protection, which was very good for the company. So this is some new innovation we do, how to improve the loadings, and combination therapy of two drugs together that give us a lot of benefit in the same liposome. We selected vincristine and topotecan. You can see They are working on two different pathways altogether. Both drugs need very low levels. They are very efficacious. You can see again, you get one drug crystallized, the other not in the liposomes. The main advantage of the liposome that we keep a ratio that we want in the tumor to be the same as we want. You can see it here. This is a ratio on the tumor. While the free drug, the ratio dropped immediately. So you can achieve, you're expected to achieve a much better efficacy of the treatment because of this. Again, EPR effect and all the rest also working here. And you can see that we get also a zero order release because of the composition. And the efficacy is again striking much, much better. We call this liposome lipovito, liposome containing victiosin and topotecan. And you can see it's much better than all other combinations, including two liposomes, one with each drug separately or together, or each liposome alone, or with only the drug, all this combination. And that's true for many, many, for few tumor models that we did that are sensitive to the drug. That's another model. And the last thing that I'm going to quick is actually showing you, taking advantage of the fact that Doxil is relatively naive and don't disrupt the immune system. You can combine it now with chemotherapy, with liposome, which before you couldn't do because when the drug really killed the immune system, the immune cell, and therefore immunotherapy cannot be of any help. And you can see here the much better efficacy that you get with the combination here. So you can see this is the combination. We took Doxil at a lower level, so we got only 30% long-term survival. But when we add to this low level of Doxil, we add the IL-2 in liposome, we get a 90% long-term survival. And actually, there are many models we can get 100. And this is now in preparation for clinical trial. So what I show you is really an approach of going back from the performance we needed, so deciding based on this on what property of molecule and liposome we need, deciding on the structure, and based on this, deciding on the processing. And I think with this kind of approach, you can go a long way. And this is actually a checklist to show you that all the things that we wanted to do actually were done. And I think I finished. These are the teams involved. It's a huge project. 7.5 years of work, very hard work of many people here. Everyone is a team of the company that supported us, and this is one of the hard meetings, one of the difficult times that we have. This is Professor Gabizon, myself, and Dr. Nika Vanitidis, the CEO of the company we work with, and my lab, and thank you very much from Jerusalem.
Thank you. Questions, please.